The land of isolation, personality cult, and strict order, but also a land full of paradoxes, secrets, and hereditary lineage. What is behind the rise of one family and their totalitarian grip over the fate of 26 million people, and how do they finance their activities? This is the secret of North Korea, the Kim dynasty, maintaining power, and the origins of their income. All videos from the This Is series are available ad-free now on my Patreon, Paul Black. If you're interested in the topics on my channel, start following me for more content. Now sit back and relax, we're starting. It all began with the founder of the Republic, Kim Il-sung. During World War II, he fought against Japanese occupation, and after its end, he was supported by the Soviet Union, which controlled the northern part, while the south was backed by the United States. The border between the two countries was set at the 38th parallel. The two occupying administrations failed to agree on joint governance, leading to the creation of two rival states in 1948, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea and the Republic of Korea, commonly known as North and South Korea. Subsequently, both the United States and the Soviet Union withdrew, and Kim Il-sung was appointed Prime Minister and later President of the entire Republic. Upon taking power, he quickly secured absolute control over the political system. In 1950, he approved an invasion of South Korea to unite the two countries under communist rule. The northern part was partially supported by China and the Soviet Union, while the south was aided by the United States and the UN. After 3 years, a ceasefire was reached, which still holds today. As a result, both countries remain in a state of war. The conflict, which ended at the same point where it began, claimed 3.5 million lives on both sides. The current demilitarized zone is 250 kilometers long and 4 kilometers wide. Kim Il-sung developed an ideology called Juche, based on self-reliance and absolute loyalty to the state and its leader. This ideology became a tool to keep the population under control and to create a personality cult. His image had to be present in every school, factory, street, public transport, and home. His speeches were considered untouchable truths. Under his leadership, North Korea took shape as a totalitarian regime where every aspect of life was under strict control. Political processes, violent purges, and the elimination of opponents became daily reality. Kim Il-sung thus became not only a symbol of resistance against colonialism, but also the founder of one of the most repressive regimes in modern history. His people say he created paradise on earth, and that North Korea became a model of prosperity and happiness thanks to him. He was the third longest serving non-royal head of state in the 20th century, holding office for more than 45 years. After Kim Il-sung's death in 1994, power was passed to his son, Kim Jong Il. This transition was highly dynastic and unusual in socialist countries. Kim Jong Il quickly secured his position through prepared propaganda, portraying him as a genius leader with abilities beyond imagination. The reality, however, was quite different, especially for ordinary people who face famine and economic difficulties. His policy, Songun, meant military first. Under his rule, the country became even more isolated, protected, and supported by the military. Currently, North Korea has 1.3 million active soldiers and around 6 million reservists and members of the so-called Red Guard. The presence of soldiers among civilians on the streets is common. They direct traffic, guard buildings, and command respect. 1 in 25 citizens is in the army. Kim Jong-il was called our dear leader in the country, and stories circulated that he could control the weather according to his mood, and that his presence brought harmony to nature. After his death in 2011, his youngest son, Kim Jong Un, took power. The world speculated that the young leader would be unable to maintain control over the regime. However, the heir surprised everyone with his toughness and determination. Under his leadership, North Korea accelerated its nuclear program. Nuclear tests and missile trials caught the world's attention and led to further economic sanctions. However, Kim Jong-un managed to turn international pressures to his advantage by strengthening his personality cult within the country. His greatest inspiration is the dynasty's founder, who remains the most revered figure in North Korea. The development of nuclear technology began in the 1950s with support from the Soviet Union. In the 1980s and 1990s, they leveraged international technological cooperation and covert operations to acquire critical components and technologies, including centrifuges for uranium enrichment and plutonium-related projects. North Korea conducted its first nuclear test in 2006 and has carried out several more since, gradually refining its arsenal. It is estimated that they currently possess 30 to 50 nuclear warheads and, thanks to their enriched uranium and plutonium reserves, have the capacity to produce several more each year. Although exact numbers are not publicly available, their ability to strike distant targets, including the US, raises global concerns about their entire nuclear program. Kim Jong Un is said to have brutally eliminated potential opponents throughout his rule, including members of his own family. His half-brother, Kim Jong Nam, was assassinated with nerve gas at an airport in Malaysia in 2017. He fell out of favour as early as 2001 when he was arrested and subsequently deported with a fake passport. After criticising his family, he was exiled from North Korea in 2003. Speculation arose that Kim Jong-nam was considered a crown prince who could have opened the regime more to the west. Diplomatically, Kim Jong-un attempted several breakthroughs, including historic meetings with US President Donald Trump, increased communication with South Korea, and partial border openings for foreign visitors. Group and individual tourists can visit North Korea, but foreign visitors are under strict surveillance by state security guards throughout their stay. Everything is pre-planned, making it nearly impossible for foreigners to engage in casual conversations with locals. Local residents can face penalties for such interactions, and if they occur, they are often pre-arranged encounters. Due to the lack of infrastructure, the primary tourist destination is the capital, Pyongyang, and its surroundings. Travel within North Korea is strictly regulated for ordinary citizens and requires approval processes. To travel between regions, a North Korean citizen needs permission from the local committees of the Korean Workers' Party. Travel reasons can only include visiting family, work, or study. The local committee assesses whether the traveller is politically reliable, and permits are granted only to politically aligned individuals. This approval process also applies to people at the destination. During travel, citizens must carry their travel documents and issued permits, specifying the exact destination and time frame. Without these documents, movement between cities or provinces is illegal. Financial constraints further limit travel within Korea. Many citizens cannot afford transportation costs. As for foreign travel, it is nearly impossible for ordinary citizens. Those wishing to leave the country must obtain special permission from state authorities and undergo a thorough vetting process that includes political loyalty and family background checks. Such permissions are typically granted only to diplomats, high-ranking party officials, or those working abroad under regime supervision. Citizens are usually allowed to travel only to allied countries like China or Russia, where they are still under constant surveillance by secret police to prevent defection. Any illegal travel or escape attempts are severely punished. Propaganda and control of the population are among the dynasty's greatest weapons. Fear and systematic indoctrination are key tools to keep the nation under control. From early childhood education to massive military parades, citizens are continuously exposed to images and narratives that glorify the Kim family. Every success is attributed to their genius, and every failure is blamed on external enemies. All media are under strict regime control, and expressing dissent results in harsh punishment. Citizens are required to report on one another. The entire private intelligence system serves to maintain political order and the dynasty's power. It starts with ordinary citizens and extends to entrance managers, known as Inminbanjang, who report to local representatives, councils, state security, and secret police. Information is collected, assessed based on importance, and forwarded accordingly. Depending on the severity of the offence, individuals may face arrest, investigation, or repressive measures affecting themselves, their families, or even future generations. Every citizen is obligated to report any suspicious or hostile activities and thoughts that could be perceived as a threat to the regime. Propaganda is so strong that most citizens believe they live in the best country in the world. Leisure time in North Korea is very limited, as the regime controls most cultural and recreational activities. State-approved cultural and sports facilities, outdoor dance events, football matches, and athletic competitions are allowed. The privileged few can visit swimming pools or the zoo. Pyongyang is home to the Masikryong ski resort, which opened in 2013 and serves as a symbol of modernization and regime propaganda. This resort includes ski slopes, ski schools, and hotels that cater to both domestic and foreign tourists. People can also visit galleries and museums filled with propaganda images and statues of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong Un. Theatres and concerts are heavily focused on glorifying the regime and its leaders, promoting communist values and loyalty to the state. Citizens are encouraged to actively participate in celebrations that reinforce state ideology. Most leisure activities are formal and serve to strengthen loyalty to the regime rather than to provide real relaxation or cultural enrichment. On average, people earn around $100 per month. They do not pay taxes, as they were abolished in 1974. The government provides new clothing and shoes. Food is distributed based on a person's job, background, social status, and other factors. Special permission from the ruling party is required to purchase items such as televisions, radios, and watches. Televisions are sealed with special paper labels to prevent switching to unauthorized channels. Local authorities conduct random inspections to check for any tampering. Every household is required to display portraits of the great leaders, Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong Un, which must be regularly dusted using a special white cloth. Citizens also wear badges featuring the leaders' images. Winters in North Korea are extremely cold, with temperatures dropping below -20°C. People rely on traditional heating methods, which can impact their quality of life and health. Pyongyang experiences similarly cold conditions, with temperatures often falling to -15°C or lower. Snow covers the city's streets and parks, and workers frequently clear it. Luxury residences are specially equipped with advanced heating and insulation systems to withstand the harsh winters. Attempting to escape from North Korea is extremely dangerous, requiring careful planning, courage, and often substantial financial resources. Most escapees flee across the border with China, as the northern border with South Korea is the most heavily guarded in the world. Escape usually begins with refugees contacting smugglers who help them cross the border for thousands of dollars. These funds are obtained by selling possessions, borrowing from relatives, or receiving support from family members abroad. After crossing into China, refugees often spend weeks or months hiding with locals or in so-called safe houses, usually run by Christian charities or activists. The journey typically continues through third countries such as Laos or Thailand, where they hope to be accepted as refugees and relocated to South Korea. Some attempt bolder escape methods, such as crossing the Yellow Sea by boat, or traversing the 4-kilometer-wide demilitarized zone, which is extremely risky. If a refugee is caught during an escape attempt, or for example in China, they face deportation back to North Korea, where they are subjected to torture, forced labor in prison camps, and sometimes execution, especially if they are suspected of cooperating with South Korea or activists. Punishments are not limited to the refugee alone but extend to their family members, who may be punished under the collective guilt system. Relatives of the refugee are often sent to labor camps or placed under strict surveillance. Those who successfully reach South Korea are granted official refugee status and financial support. However, adapting to a new life is challenging, as refugees find themselves in a completely different world with new opportunities. Additionally, they are often traumatized by the knowledge that their families remain in danger. North Korea's finances are heavily reliant on illegal operations, which are estimated to account for a quarter to half of the country's GDP, amounting to several $billion annually. Illegal activities include counterfeiting foreign currencies, which are circulated through North Korean-owned restaurants worldwide and via the diplomatic network. The same applies to the production of illegal chemical substances, particularly the synthesis of methamphetamine, with a purity of up to 98%, and the modification of morphine into other opiates, which are sold to China through gangs and diplomats who are not subject to border inspections. This generates approximately $300 million in cash annually. Additionally, the regime engages in insurance fraud against international insurers, cyber attacks, piracy, cryptocurrency theft, and hacking of banking systems. It is estimated that North Korea employs thousands of hackers, generating billions of dollars each year. These hackers collaborate with other Asian groups and share profits. This is partly due to North Korea being assigned only 1,000 IP addresses. The country also profits from modern-day slavery, which is estimated to generate $1 to $2 billion annually. More than 50,000 North Korean workers are believed to be employed abroad under forced labor conditions. They are to be deployed to Russia, China, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, the European Union, and several African countries. They often work in construction, forestry, industrial enterprises, or the military. They work under harsh conditions, with a large portion of their wages being confiscated and sent to North Korea. In African states, they are also involved in the production and modification of weapons. In China, North Koreans are primarily employed in the textile industry and factories producing textiles, footwear, electronics, and other consumer goods. Similar cases have been documented in Qatar and the Middle East, where they were involved in the construction of infrastructure for major events. North Korea manages economic zones and casinos in China and Cambodia. It also reportedly operates several hotels and hostels, such as one in Berlin, Germany. These establishments serve to generate income from tourism and to launder illegally obtained money in various currencies. According to estimates, this amounts to millions of dollars annually. For example, Angkor, which you might know from beautiful Instagram videos and travel tips, attracts 2.5 million tourists from around the world each year. Right in front of the temple entrance is the Angkor Panorama Museum, which houses a beautiful hand-painted depiction of the entire area. It took 63 people almost a year and a half to complete the painting. The painting was created in North Korea, the museum is owned indirectly by North Korea, and this building alone generates $7 million in revenue annually. North Korea also owns a vast network of restaurants named after its capital, Pyongyang. Although prices are high, with a main dish costing around $50, the restaurants are full every day. In addition to food, visitors can enjoy musical performances. The North Korean staff, who also live in the restaurant premises, receive no income. They are specially selected only from art schools loyal to the party. These employees are monitored by local intermediaries and North Korean state security. The entire restaurant network has more than 130 branches in major Asian cities such as Hong Kong, Shanghai, cities in Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, Nepal, Mongolia, as well as Vladivostok, Moscow, Dubai, and many others. Due to international sanctions, North Korea must conceal its activities behind a network of dozens of companies that appear as banks, mining, fishing, livestock, textile companies, jewelry stores, import and export businesses, and more. Textile factories alone export goods worth $500 million from North Korea, with prepared labels stating "Made in China." Cash is sent to North Korea through a diplomatic network that officially sells the country's products and thus brings back large sums of money. Fake companies around the world provide additional means to finance the needs of the country and the Kim family. Revenue from all these activities serves to support the functioning of North Korea, to maintain the Kim family's power, and to finance the arms program. The entire network of illegal income sources has been built over approximately 50 years. The Kim family owns several luxurious residences spread throughout North Korea. These serve both official purposes and their private lives. The most famous is the Kumsusan Palace of the Sun in Pyongyang, originally the residence of Kim Il-sung. Other residences include a villa near Mount Paektu, considered a symbol of revolution, and a luxurious summer residence in Wonsan, on the coast of the Sea of Japan. This includes a private port, water slides, and a yacht. There is also speculation about heavily guarded bunkers, shelters prepared for potential war, and with an underground railway. The leader's residences are carefully guarded by elite units, ensuring his safety and isolation from the rest of the country. Kim Jong Un's isolation, lifestyle, and daily routine are shrouded in secrecy. According to available information, he spends much of his day managing state affairs and leading propaganda activities. This includes meetings with high-ranking party officials, military representatives, and inspections of key industrial, military, or agricultural projects. He emphasizes the presentation of his authority, frequently visiting military exercises, factories, or schools, with these events carefully documented by state propaganda and broadcast nationwide. In his free time, the leader rides horses, watches foreign films and music, or relaxes with fine wine and food. During his studies in Switzerland, he developed a taste for Swiss cheese, which he continues to have imported to this day. What does the future hold for the Kim dynasty? The question of succession is also crucial. Kim Jong Un does not yet have a clear successor. So far, the dynasty has relied on absolute loyalty and control, but changes in the world may bring unpredictable consequences. Thus, the future of North Korea remains uncertain. International pressure, internal problems, and potential uprisings could mean the end of the Kim dynasty. On the other hand, they may continue to rule the nation for decades to come. What do you think? How long will the Kim dynasty continue? And who will be the next successor? Will North Korea ever open up to the world and grant its people freedom? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate a like, sharing it with others, and subscribing to my channel. You can find more videos from the This Is series ad-free on my Patreon. Some episodes are also on my YouTube in this playlist. And don't forget to check out the slow walk videos with chill out music.